It's always a special thing for me to come back here, and an honor for me to be back. This is not going to make a lot of sense to all of you, but I got recruited here 42 years ago. Like, think about that, 42 years ago. Most people who know me, and they're older, but they think of me first as a Duke basketball player. I mean, how crazy is that? I'm 60 years old, and I haven't played in a million years. And Duke basketball is still the lead story with me. You know, I've been working at ESPN for a long time and doing different things. I'm a practicing attorney and all that, but I'm still identified as a Duke basketball player. And that's that's the proudest thing on my resume. The proudest thing on my resume. When I was in high school, I grew up in Los Angeles, California. And when I was in high school, I didn't know very much about Duke. You know, Duke had been a good program. Program started in 1906, and it got pretty good in the 60s. When I was born in 1963. All right, and think about this. Like 20 years before I was born, World War II was on. All right, that amount of time is about when 9/11 happened in your lives. You know, so time goes by quickly. And this period of time that you're here, don't waste it. Because the 4 years I was here as a player went by like that. And it's something I still think about, not every day, but most days, something that I did, learned, a relationship I had here, I think about just about every day. Just about every day. It's impacted my life that much. And if you guys do this right, and I think you will, this will positively affect the rest of your life. When I got here, Coach K was in his third year. That's how long ago it was. And I came here, I'm sure the university doesn't want to hear this. I did not come here to go to Duke. I came here to play for Coach K. That's what I wanted to do. And you're really lucky that you have a basketball coach in John Shire and a staff that is as good or better than what we had back then. I know all your facilities, all your resources are way better than what we had. But when the group I came in with, when we got here, our mindset was we wanted to help Coach K build something special that was going to last a long time. None of us had any idea what guys like John Shire and Chris Carrawell, what they would take it to. Because it went from that 4-year period that I was lucky enough to be here, it went from we were really good, nationally ranked, then we were number one and won the most games in a season in the history. We won 37 games my senior year and lost in the NCAA championship game. It was Coach K's first number one team, first Final Four team, first ACC championship team. We didn't envision what this would be. So imagine that you were investing in one of these AI companies now, or you invested years ago in Apple. Look how that pays off over the long run. This is an investment that pays off like you cannot believe, and the market never dips. It's the best non-family decision you've ever made. It was the best non-family decision I ever made. And what I really want to talk to you about is what's going to make the difference between being a really good team and having a great season and being a champion that's going to last forever. And it's going to be the attention that you pay to each other, the relationships that you form, and the priorities that you have. Now, if I asked each one of you what your priorities are, I think every basketball player in the country would say the same thing. My priorities are school, my family, basketball, all that, whatever order. They would say that. Everybody knows what to say. But I'll know what everybody's priorities are by the decisions you make. Your decisions will reveal your priorities. So if you say basketball is the most important thing, and basketball and school, most important things, all right? If you say that, and then you're out living the campus life and acting like a frat guy, doing all these things, not getting your rest, your decisions reveal that wasn't your priority. All right. There are two things now, as I look back, that were the most important things for me to think about. That's relationships and regret. All right. Regret lasts forever. It lasts forever. So if you go through this process and your priorities are not in order, you will regret it. You've made the decision to be here. At the end of the year, you may make the decision to move on. Go to the NBA, transfer, whatever you want. That's the appropriate time to make that decision. Right now, you need to be in with both feet. In with both feet and willing to make whatever sacrifice the team needs you to make. Because I'll tell you one thing about regret. Nobody who's been through this process ever regrets giving everything they had. Nobody ever regrets being unselfish. Nobody ever says, geez, I regret that I wasn't more selfish. I regret that I wasn't more out for myself. They regret that they didn't throw everything they had into the team and do whatever the team needed them to do. Because at the end of this is what I call a no-record program. Some of you who played on the team might not know this, but most people have no idea what Duke's record was last year. They don't know what the record was the year before or the year before that. All they want to know is, did they win? Did they win the championship? That's all they care about. Other places will hang a banner for having a 25-win season. They'll put it up. That's not in Cameron. Those things aren't in Cameron. There are championship banners in there. That's all that anybody cares about. But what you guys need to care about are the people in this room. That's all that matters. And what you're going to see is that there are two things to think about: internal and external. External. There are a lot of external expectations about the program. There are a lot of external expectations about each one of you. You'll have fans, media, family. Now, this sounds crazy. Family is external. When I played here, my family was really supportive of me. They wanted what was best for me. They wanted to see me do well. They did not have any concept of what was going on in the program. None. They were fans, and they were fans of me, and second, they were fans of the program. But what my family had to say, I listened to, but it did not matter. It didn't matter. What mattered was, what did my coaching staff think, and what did my teammates think? And I did not care. Like I have pride. You wanted to be well regarded. You know, you wanted the media to say nice things and all that. That's nice, but it doesn't matter. It does not matter. What I wanted was for my teammates to think and believe that I was of value. And it doesn't matter. I'll tell you what doesn't matter on the internal side is what your role is. Your role is not who you are, and it's not what you're capable of. It's what your team needs you to do to win. It's not a limitation. You know, I made the mistake early on in my career thinking my role could be limiting. It wasn't limiting. The only one that limited me was me. Coach K and the staff never limited me. If I was limited, it was my fault. That was on me. Now, in practice every day, it wasn't, hey, let's do drills so Jay can get better. That wasn't it. That's what you do after practice. That's the extra work to make sure that you're prepared to expand your role as you go forward in that season. Because you know your role can change in one play. What if somebody gets hurt and they get injured in a game, they're out for that game? Your role changes right there. You've got to be prepared for that. And that's part of this process. But all of you, the relationships that you have together, are you going to be supportive of one another? Are you going to be tough enough to hold each other accountable? And when somebody has something to say to you that may be a correction or critical, whether it's a coach or another player, are they going to understand that you can take it and you'll act upon it positively. Or are you going to say, well, wait a minute, what about you? No, that's not the right response. So a lot of places you'll go into a room and you'll see trust. Trust, right? So everybody, think about this for a second. When you're asking for somebody's trust, it's their decision whether to give it to you or not. The issue is, are you going to be trustworthy? Are you trustworthy? I have a really good, really close friend that's had some problems with addiction. And recently we were together, and he's kind of pouring his heart out to me. It's just me and him. And he said, I got to get people to trust me again. He had let people down, and he's really feeling it. And it's true, he had let a lot of people down. But he was really stuck on, I got to get people to trust me again. And I tried to explain to him as best I could that that's not what you need to worry about. If people decide to give you their trust, that's going to be their decision. Your job has to be trustworthy. And as a teammate, that's what you need to be. Trustworthy, reliable, consistent every day. If I were going to say, like Coach K and Coach Shire, probably, I know Coach K talks about, I'm sure Coach Shire does, about the difference between a goal and a destination. You know, if you're going to climb a ladder, right? And I had this experience with my father. I used to work with my dad during the summertime. And part of my job was to get materials from the ground floor up to the roof level. And I had to climb a ladder carrying stuff with me. And I decided in my infinite wisdom at age 19 or 20 that the more stuff I carried up the ladder, the fewer trips I had to take. So I loaded myself down with materials, and I was climbing the ladder. About midway up, gets higher every time I tell the story, but midway up, I took a spill, I fell off the ladder, and I landed flat on my back. And I was lucky I didn't really get hurt. And like most of our parents, my dad at first was, are you okay? And then when he found out I was okay, then he got really pissed at me. So my dad said something that's always stuck with me. You know, he said, will you concentrate on what you're doing while you're doing it? And he said, you can't get to the top of that ladder in one step, but you can get to the bottom in one step. And I started thinking about that, you know, I was thinking about getting that over with and getting to the top of the ladder. That was my destination. But what I needed to be concentrated on is each rung of that ladder. Like which rung on the ladder is the most important? The one you're on. The one you're on. You know, the ones I've already covered, I don't need to worry about that. And I don't need to worry about the top. I'll get there if I handle this rung, and then that rung, and then that rung. That's what a basketball season really is. You know, and today, when you guys go to lift and you go to practice, those are opportunities for you to get better and to move yourself up that ladder. You're not going to win the national championship today. It's not being played today. But you're going to put yourself in position to win it by what you do today. And when you're going through, you guys probably already run the mile, right? When you're doing each of these things, nobody has their A game every day. It'd be nice if we did, but nobody has their A game every day. But as a group, somebody in this group has their A game today. So that's the responsibility that person with their A game to take the lead and make sure that everybody's lifted up. So there's no role on this team that's not important. Every role is important. And if you guys, with your relationships, if you're foster a close team that values the contributions of each player, you'll rise up. The one mistake I'm sure I made a lot of mistakes, but the one thing, talking about regret, that I really regret is that I think I was a hard worker. I got to practice early. I lifted hard. I was a big, strong, it don't look like it now, but I was a big, strong guy back then. I wasn't like Sion, but I was pretty big and strong. When I got to practice, I think there was a mentality that I was kind of waiting for practice to start instead of preparing myself for a fight and preparing myself to compete that day with whatever I had. And that's part of this process, is preparing yourself to compete every day at the highest level. And then that becomes a habit. And if each player does it and you encourage each other to do it and encourage each other to make the right decisions on and off the floor, then you're going to be a great team. And the relationships that you forge here will last you the rest of your lives. The guys I played with are my best friends. And the respect that I had for them at the time has only grown. I respect the hell out of those guys and love them. I know we call it the brotherhood, but they are family members to me because of the time we spent together and the support we had of one another. Doesn't mean we didn't hold each other to high standards. We did. It doesn't mean we didn't have fights and we didn't go after each other. We did. But what made us a really good team and I think a really good program are the relationships that we valued. We were together all the time. And you guys are really lucky for a variety of reasons. But do you ever think about the players that have played here and look back on that? Like, you guys are young, so you probably don't think about the guys that played here 50 years ago, 40, 30, 20, whatever. But you've had some of the greatest players in the college game that have played here, but they're also some of the greatest guys. And your coaching staff, Coach Shire, Coach Carrawell are, in my judgment, the two most underrated stars that we've had at this place. Coach Shire's jersey should be retired, and Coach Carrawell should be in the Duke Hall of Fame right now. I think that'll happen. It should happen. So it should have happened already. I voted for you.
You're right.
But I can tell you that this is true. Neither one of those guys and nobody that's played here is concerned about what they should have had individually. They're more concerned about, that's our banner right there. This is our program. This means something. This is a part of you forever. And I don't care whether you play here 4 years, 1, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. This is a special thing, and you want to treat it as special. You want to treat it as special. But what you're about to go through this year is, like, how many guys are new here and haven't played at Duke before? All right, what you're about to go through is going to be unlike anything you've gone through anywhere else. You can't describe it. And Mason played in the national championship game with Purdue. Amazing program. This is different. It's different. You're going to have people come at you at a level that is going to be hard to fathom. And that's been created because of what's been done before you. But none of that matters. This is your team and your program. You want to do this not because it's expected, not because teams before you have done it, because you want to do it. This is yours. And we're here, the guys that played here before, we're not here to tell you, hey, look what we did. Nobody cares. We're here to support you in doing what you want to do. And I'm so excited. I get to watch you play today, but I'm so excited to watch you play throughout the year and watch not only what you are now, but what you're going to be and what you're going to accomplish as a team, individually, and then what you're going to do when you leave here. Because you've got an amazing future ahead of you, but your future really is now and what you decide you're going to do today. And it's a choice. It's a choice. A choice to be all in on this, a choice that you are going to do whatever it takes to help a teammate get better. That you're not going to be worried about, hey, I'm going to compete, and then whatever decision my coaches make, I'm going to accept it and act upon it positively. And I'm going to give everything I have to make sure that we win. It doesn't matter what the role is. I will do whatever is asked of me. Whatever is asked of me. And then I don't care. I never cared what my parents thought. If they wanted me to take more shots, not their decision. I was happy with what I had because I knew what was going on in our room, in our locker room. I knew what was going on in our team room. I was not bothered by outside issues. I cared what Coach K thought, what my teammates thought. That's all that mattered. And it's all that really matters. And the ones who, the teams that value external at all instead of internal are the ones that fall short of what they want. They'll fall short of their goals and then their destination, their ultimate destination being the top of that ladder. This stuff lasts forever. It lasts forever. And you'll never, even when you go on after this, play professionally, you may coach, you may wind up a front office person in the NBA. Ask anybody that's ever played here. They think more about what happened here than other places. More about what happened here. You know, you think that it's going to be better afterwards, and it's never better than right here. It's never better. And when I mention regret, we finished, the team that I played on, when I mentioned we were really good. We were number one in the country. We won 37 games. We lost in the NCAA championship game by a bucket. And it came down, essentially, there are a lot of plays in a game that it comes down to, but we got beat on a missed blockout at the end of a game. A kid named Jeff Hall shot an air ball, and we got hung up on a blockout, and a guy named Purvis Ellison grabbed the air ball. We were all expecting it to hit the rim. It never did. He grabbed it, laid it in, we lost. It didn't happen at the buzzer, but that was kind of the back-breaking play that we went from one of the great teams of all time to kind of, man, they were good, but they didn't win. And that's a regret, and you don't want to have that. So I thought back, after that game, you thought back about all the damn blockout drills we did. And did I put everything I had into those drills? It came down to a blockout. You know, that's the attention to detail. That's the difference between, boy, we were a great team, but we weren't a champion. Winner, champion. It's a totally different deal. And do you think anybody is talking about, it's been close to 40 years, it's been 38 years since that game. Do you think anybody that thinks about that, whether they're a fan, media person, player, coach, do you think they're thinking about, well, so-and-so should have played more minutes, or I can't believe they didn't play that? They're not thinking that. They're not thinking that. Everything you do is important. Like, so when you go lift, it's important. So throw everything you have into that, and when it's over, you move on to the next thing, and throw everything you have into that. One last thing before I end this insomnia healing thing. You have a ton of resources around here, not just basketball. Like, you have everything you need to be a championship team on the basketball side. Outside of this building is an incredible amount of resources for your life. This is one of the great institutions in the world, and it's got some of the smartest people in the world that all are willing to help you. Be open to that. Don't miss a class. Don't miss an opportunity to get to know the people with whom you are attending class, because the people you're sitting next to are going to be movers and shakers like you cannot believe in our society. Don't miss those opportunities. So make sure, I don't care whether you think you're going to be here for a year or 4 years, or you're going to get a job as a professor and stay here for the rest of your life. It doesn't matter. The amount of time doesn't matter. What matters is what you do with the time that you're here. But don't lose sight of what's the most important thing, of the priorities that you have. It's in this building and on this campus to take advantage of the opportunities that are in front of you, because you'll never have them again. You'll never have them again like this. And you'll never again in your life have a group of people like the staff here, your coaching staff, your support staff. You will never again have a group of people that are totally invested and dedicated into making you better. You'll never have that again. I don't care how long you play in the NBA, it is not the same as this. It's not the same. So don't be stupid. Take advantage of that. Like, take advantage of it. And I look back on the opportunities I had, and I think I took advantage of them pretty well. But I'll tell you what, I would love to have them again, because I would do even better with it. I would do even better with it. You know, when you have these opportunities when you're young, it will set you up for the rest of your life, and build that habit of taking advantage of opportunities, because you're going to have a ton of them. And you have the talent in this room, the talent, the character, and the humility to win the whole thing. Some teams do not. Some teams wish they could, or hope they could. You don't have to wish or hope. You have everything you need to reach every goal or destination that you have, every single one. And the margin of excellence is going to be how much you throw into it, and how much you throw into it together, if that makes sense. Let me say this one last thing. The proudest thing in my life outside of my family is this. It's not close. It's this. I've been identified with the Duke program for longer than not. Since I was 18 years old, I've had this. Now I have to go in the student store and buy this. They used to give it to me, but now I have to buy it. But it's the proudest thing. It's the proudest non-family thing in my life. And it really is family. And later on, you're going to hear from Coach K, I think. And that, like, this is everything, man. And some of you played other places, and it's great. I'm not trying to denigrate anything else, but I'm saying that very few people get this. Very few people get this. And if you treat it like the special gem that this is, then it's a force multiplier in your life. It's a force multiplier. You'll always have every one of us to rely upon. We'll never tell you no. If you never ever need anything from me, you have it. All you have to do is call. Coach Shire's got my number. And you can call me anytime. And I think you'll hear the same thing from every former player here. You know, we're all here to support you and to watch you, and really what you do elevates us. What you do elevates us. You know, the way you conduct yourselves, the way you compete, it's only gotten better. People think people think we're all better than we were because of you guys. You played at Duke? Holy cow, like, look at you're better than we were. But we're really, I'm grateful for this place. And if your gratitude can lead you to extra effort, it should. It should. You know, you don't get special like this very often. You will not have special in your life like this very often. And so take advantage of it. But I'm really proud of you, and I'm looking forward to watching you. And thank you for having me here.
I don't need to say anything else. Jay got us ready for practice. Let's go left and go.